Today's episode is brought to you by MTDCNC, the go-to platform covering the latest stories in the world of manufacturing.
Welcome to the MTDCNC podcast. Today I'm joined by Udo and I'm joined by Jim. We're here at Starrag HQ in Kentucky. I'm so glad that you guys allowed me into your home today. We're going to be going over everything that you've updated as a company to better serve manufacturing here in North America. And I am excited to learn what's new with all of you. Udo, do you want to start us out? What are the big updates that you're bringing to the market?
Okay, first of all, how much time we have? 2 hours? 3 hours?
We have all the time we want, my friend. All the time we want.
Actually, Starrag not necessarily is known for coming out every year with tons of new models and doing this or that. And this is appreciated by the customers, because if you have a machine and you need to duplicate, even the machine is a little bit older, you get more or less the same model, of course, with modern technology. But 2025 as well as 2026 are very important years for Starrag. So let us talk where we are coming out with this year, not going too fast into too far into 2026.
Okay.
So the first thing, which is pretty important for our companies this year, is the release of our so-called RCS CAM software. So yeah, I see it.
What does RCS mean?
Okay, so yeah, I know. You think, when you think about Starrag, you think about a machine tool builder, blah, blah, blah. But as we say many times, we are not just a builder, we are a solution provider. And I explained it many times before, if we go in a contact with our customer, we not just deliver the machine, we deliver the solution. Many times I say the solution include the machine at the end. But what else is important? The right software is important. And 1984, Starrag came out, a long time ago, Starrag came out with the RCS software. RCS software is a CAM system for high-end blades, high-precision blades, for impeller and blisks, right, Jim? That is where we use it mainly for. Then what else is new this year? It's actually from last year, but we are improving it this year tremendously, is our North America YouTube channel. Of course, Starrag has an international YouTube channel, but together with you guys, we want to go more into content, but specific to the North American market. So we basically created our own North American YouTube channel. And all the content on this channel is customer stories, for example, is really dedicated to the North American market. So whenever a customer goes on this channel, he gets not bothered with anything from Europe or Asia where he is maybe not really interested in. Then let us talk a little bit about North America, and let us talk a little bit about the economy and where the way is going for Starrag. So we have to make sure that with, of course, selling and installing more and more machines into the market, that we are also keeping up with our service and application stuff. So a lot of people know that Starrag machines get fairly old, right? It's not really we push 20 new machines in the market, and on the other hand, 20 machines go for scrap metal. That's absolutely not the way. There's maybe one machine going out, and again, 20 machines are going in. So we decided this year to come out, first of all, with a new training program for our service engineers. So since we are the builder, we have the advantage and the beauty, we can send our service technicians directly to the factories for very specialized training, really hands-on training, right? And usually we did 1 to 2 trips a year in the past. We increased that to 3 to 4. So to really get them constantly trained, of course, there's also a lot of catch up to do. Everybody comes out with Sinomeric 1, right? Or Sinomeric 1 is already available, but we still, like others, we have to train our people, and we prefer that to do that directly into the factories. For us, one of the largest business in North America is ITAR-defense. So that means we have to be very self-sufficient in terms of our application stuff, because as we all know, foreigners cannot really work on ITAR-related parts. Very difficult to bring them into defense companies. Jim knows that very well. There's a lot of defense companies on the East Coast, right? All the shipyards. And bringing foreigners in is extremely difficult. Certainly we have the support from Europe. That's absolutely not the problem, but we have to be self-sufficient, right? That means we did a big push also this year to hire more application engineers so that we are absolutely can satisfy the demand, right? And not leaving our customers alone with their issues because of manpower.
Yeah.
So this is, and we also, let us touch a little bit on that, we also increased our presence on the West Coast. We always had a little place over there where we have a machine available, also application to demonstrate that to the West Coast customers. I mean, it's a long way from, let us say, California, for example, to Hebron, Kentucky, right? Yeah. So here we're increasing also our footprint. And I'm actually next week flying down to Mexico. We will look into a new office. We have already an existing office, but business for us in Mexico is extremely good. So we have to expand there. We have to go larger. And we also planning to do a full spare parts setup down in Mexico. Right now, Mexico get their parts from our warehouse, actually here in Kentucky, 5 minutes from here.
Okay.
But we will establish a little bit on a smaller scale, but we will establish also a spare part hub in Mexico. But the most exciting news and basically everything around the machines is we are coming out with a lot of new models, and around the machine itself, there is a lot of news. And that's why we have Jim here, right?
Yeah, well, and I would love to dig into that with Jim. I mean, there's so much exciting already that you've covered, Udo. I'm going to re-say that. Yeah, I mean, I want to dig into this with Jim. I mean, there's already so much exciting that you've covered, Udo, but before we dig into that, I mean, don't miss the update that's coming for EMO. One of the things that I love about EMO is this is when people launch technology updates. Yeah. So all of that bliss, I mean, the amount of people I've talked to about power generation technologies in the last 6 months is ridiculous.
Oh, absolutely.
Like there's such a revolution and change in the design of these components. Yeah. I love that you're updating the software to be able to cover all of that and just everything that you're doing as a company to support as we fight to grow manufacturing here, to increase the GDP of manufacturing in North America. So Jim, what updates are you bringing on the machine tool side here for us?
So on the machine tool side, we have launched our new, what we call compact series machines, which basically bring us across the board from our 500 millimeter size range up to, let's say, around 1 meter in workpiece size. So that's where our new launch of our compact series sort of focuses. And we also revised our naming convention because it was very confusing in the past. We had a lot of legacy names that carried over from past products. We had new machines being introduced, and we were always trying to figure out how to sort of integrate the naming convention. So what we've done is we've really just sort of cleaned up our naming convention for our machines across the board. So on our compact series machines, we basically have our H series, which takes us all the way from the smallest to the largest machine, and that essentially stands for our horizontal machining centers. 4-axis horizontal machining.
Pretty straightforward. H horizontal.
Exactly.
That's very
should be
dry.
Pretty easy. And then what we did on the 5-axis side of it was we split that into 2 groups. We have the X series, which covers all of our smaller machines with a trunnion table. and then the S series, which covers our larger platform machines with a head table configuration to make up the 5-axis machine side. Okay. So now we really essentially have 3 main machines in our naming convention. We have the H, which covers all horizontal machines. We have the X for the smaller and compact, and S for the larger platform. Okay. So just really, it was just to clean it up, make it less confusing for ourselves and for our customers.
Yeah, so it's more of a straightforward finding as they come to you for their solutions. When
exactly
that happened, what did you say? Happened to include a machine tool in the deal?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, when you're building machines as long as Starrag has, you always have these legacy products, and there's always this overlap and things like that. So we really focused on, cleaning that up. On the other side, we've come out with a lot of new technology for our compact series as well as our large format machines. One of them that's really exciting for us is our Matrix tool magazine. Oh. This is going to open up a whole new world with regard to not only tool storage capacity with regard to the number of tools that you can have, but also the size and the weight of the tools that you can have. The Matrix magazine really allows us to have much larger and much heavier tools than what we would normally have in a standard like chain type of magazine. And it allows us to go up to 828 tools.
I was thinking you're going to tell me 300 or 400 tools.
It's incredible.
828 tools.
Larger tools and heavier tools than what we could ever have before.
And sorry, Jim, if I jump in here for a second, but with increasing the number of tools, we not really increase a lot the footprint of the machine.
Exactly. Oh. So that was the focus with the Matrix magazine.
And it is our own development. Yeah. And Jim, when we saw it for the first time in Germany, it looks so simple that at the end of the day, you really think, why nobody had this idea before, right?
Exactly.
It is. So it's also not super complicated where you have a high possibility of failure rates and all of this stuff. No, it is absolutely, it's perfect. I'm very excited about that tool magazine.
As a machinist, I love the increase in tools. I mean, so you got the same size footprint, but you're now up to over 800 tools.
In some cases, even smaller footprint.
Even small, and they're heavier, and they can be bigger.
Yes.
Tools.
Larger tools, heavier tools, and a lot more of them in a more compact footprint. And that's really been the focus as we've developed the X series, the H series, or the compact series machines, as well as the large machine series. We've really focused on making the machines more footprint friendly, let's say, because even in the U.S., footprint is now becoming a major concern for a lot of manufacturers. In the past, it was always, European or Asian countries always had to worry about footprint, but even in the US, that's becoming more and more of a topic with our customers. So our focus has really been making the machines more content rich, more technology, but in a smaller footprint, and also simplification. Simplification with things like Udo mentioned with the Matrix magazine, less moving parts, more reliable, more robust platform. That's been what we've done with the revamping of our product line.
Yeah, so you got more uptime, easier technology uptake by your customers because the things you're updating to are not super complicated or overly hard for your new service engineers or your application guys to learn on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before it was completely clear what we really do with the new machines or where do we put the pencil and change things. We really did a lot of conversations with our customers worldwide. We remember that we spoke to customers who have that type of machine in production for years and years, and they of course gave us a lot of hints, advices, and say, man, I have a problem here. What is coming in my mind? Chip evacuation. Maybe, Jim, you have a couple of words on chip
so that's
evacuation.
actually feedback directly from the market. Chip evacuation, you have all of these little nooks and pockets inside in a machine tool cabinet that you don't really realize until all of a sudden there's chips piled up. So one of the things that we've done is we've eliminated telescoping guideway covers everywhere that we could possible. You can't eliminate them completely, but every area where we saw an opportunity to get rid of a telescoping guideway cover, we did. What that does is it lessens the failure mode. A guideway cover is always going to have a replacement lifespan. And a lot of times it's taking the machine tool down. It's a very extensive or invasive type of procedure to get that done. Sometimes it's not done right, and then you have leaks and things like that later on. So that always was a point of contention, let's say, for our customers. We took that feedback and we basically integrated that into our new design. So we're using solid steel covers that retract either into the base of the machine or into the cabin without having a telescoping guideway cover.
Oh, wow.
Another area that we listened to our customers was with our HMI. So not talking so much about the control itself, whether it's a Siemens or a Fanuc or anything like that, but what we're talking about is the actual human-machine interface that the operator touches every day, that the maintenance person touches every day. Those points, when it comes to tool magazine recovery, instead of having to go into a deeply embedded recovery mode and having a very, very technologically savvy maintenance person, let's say, having to go in there into a recovery mode and move the machine, safely to recover a tool change or to recover a pallet change, we've actually created push buttons that are very easy to get to, very easy to recover these systems, and they basically recover the machine automatically. And this was all driven from feedback from our customers.
Let me add one thing to it. When you look at downtime and you talk to customers, let us say you have a customer who works 24/7, right? There is your night shift, day shift, blah, blah, blah. The highest downtime most of the time occurs during the night shift. And when you dig into it, why is it during the night shift? Of course, one reason is that sometimes the maintenance team, the customer's maintenance team is not fully staffed. Of course, that's one thing. But then also you see that many times with these little things like tool changer recovery or pallet recovery, almost all our machines are pallet changer machines, is the reason for the downtime. And many companies have different operators, right? And then the downtime, basically the reason for it, that the operator was not really trained or was not able to do the tool change or the tool recovery, because very complicated, as Jim explains, right? Now he goes to the HMI and push the button, tool recovery, and bam, everything is going fully automatically. The machine is doing it for you.
And it doesn't matter if the operator hasn't had to recover a tool in 5 years, it's still the same one button. Where, in the past when we would do an operator training, they would have to sit there and take 3 pages of notes of how to get the tool changer recovered. And if they only did it once in every 5 years, they would completely forget. Now, you don't have to remember how to do it.
Well, I think I still have notes at home from when I've done training like that in the past in my career, where it was like photo of this, photo of that, email it to myself, because it's like I'm not going to need this probably for I love that you've integrated now as part of the interface so anyone can do it, right? We're trying to bring more people into manufacturing. These are the kinds of things companies need to be doing to their equipment so that these new people can use it without a degree, without 20 years experience.
I mean, you can always improve a machine tool when it comes to rigidity or accuracy but it's all of these little time stealers, let's say, that actually account for a large majority in the end of machine downtime. A machine will sit for half a shift because somebody was poking around trying to find something. If you make it easier for the operator, you make the machine running longer. It's that simple.
Well, and unlike some companies out there, you've actually gone to your customers, your long-standing ones. I mean, you benefit from having a high-quality machine tool. You've got machines that are 20, 30 years in the field, right? Like, you have long-lasting machines. So you have these long-lasting relationships that you build that trust, and you can go to them, hey, what's the one thing that upsets you about this? Or what's your number one issue right now? and you're solving those problems for them so that it's no longer an issue.
Yeah. But let us talk a little bit about age.
Okay.
Right? Not our age, right?
Oh, good. I don't want to talk about that because when you said the software started in '84, that's 41 years ago.
Yeah.
I know that because I was born in '83.
But I saw you running around earlier in our showroom and in the foyer.
Yeah.
And you passed that green old
In the front
SIP
corner,
machine.
yeah.
So there is a funny story about that machine.
Okay.
So the machine was built in 1968. 1968.
Okay.
And roughly, I have to think a little bit, roughly 5 years ago, the customer donated the machine
Oh, wow.
to us. But now the funny part starts.
Yeah.
He was using the machine till 1 year before he donated the machine to us. So let us say that that was roughly, if we go back, let us say 2019. So
Yeah.
from basically 1968 to 2019, he was using the machine.
That's like 45 years of service on one machine tool.
Yeah. So actually 20 years is not really a big age
No.
for a Starrag machine.
That's less than half of what it's
Right,
for.
right. And then most of the customers are not really throwing the machine away.
Yeah.
So we do the retrofit on the machine. We call it actually modernization.
Okay.
And that's also a big part of our service, which we are offering in the United States or in North America.
Yeah.
Because really, regardless if the machine is small or large, customers would like to have a new control on it and have the machine completely modernized and be ready for the next 30 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have a lot of aged Starrag machines on the East Coast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because traditionally, when Starrag came to North America, they started in upstate New York.
Okay.
And then, of course, the first machines they sold was basically around that area, and that's exactly where Jim sits. So you are getting confronted with the legacy machines all the time, right?
And that's an interesting area that we find ourselves in the machine tool industry, because you either have, what people consider commodity machines, which you use for a finite period of time, and
Like
then
5
you
years.
essentially throw it away.
Yeah.
Where when you're talking to a customer and trying to impress upon them the justification, because we're not ever the cheapest.
No.
We never win in a bidding contest. But when we really can show the customer the longevity of the machine, the overall rigidity and geometric accuracy of the machine that it has for the long term, and then we tell them, and then in 15 years when these controls are obsolete and the electronics are obsolete, we can retrofit the machine to the latest. The iron itself and the technology that's in the machine, for the most part, is still relevant. It's just really the controls and the electronics in there. And I think that's when all of a sudden you start to see the realization from the customer side about the true meaning of their investment.
Yeah. We have that one request, Jim, in your area. We cannot say the customer name, but it's a big VTL.
Correct.
You know out of your head how old that machine is now?
1975.
You know it exactly. And we will now start a completely full modernization of this machine.
Really?
Yeah.
With
A VTL from
And
1975.
believe me,
Yeah.
we tried everything we could do to sell them a new machine, but
Yeah.
this machine has certain characteristics
Yeah.
that their work pieces that fit their work pieces perfectly.
Oh.
And there's not really a new model that we offer that can do that. So for them, the modernization is really the best way to go.
And I think it is now decided we even put the Cinemeric one on,
Correct,
right?
yes.
So you have to keep that,
Oh, wow.
envision this.
And that's
right?
your newest version, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that's absolutely state of the art. But
Yeah.
particularly with this machine, there is so much impressive stuff what we do. It's maybe not really the main story of this podcast, but since we speak about that, so there is, Jim, what is the name again in English? The main, not really the column, the
cross rail.
The cross rail. And we decided to ship that whole cross rail back to Germany to get completely reworked when it comes back to the customer. So we basically ship it over the ocean.
Yeah.
We do months, we will invest months of work into that 1975 Crossrail.
Yeah.
And when it comes back, it is brand new and it is ready for the next 30 or 40 years. I try to remember what the weight is of this Crossrail. I cannot really. Do you know what the weight is? Probably not. But it is massive. But yeah, for the customer, it is very important. And as Jim said, we try to sell him a new machine, but no chains. And
and that's something for you out there watching right now. Look, there is a very different conversation when you choose a company like Starrag as a partner. It's why we're doing the update here, so that you can understand the value that there is in trusting someone like Jim with your business and your customers' goals that you're trying to make out there. You could be 40 years down the road and then talking to Jim or to Udo or whoever takes over for them on what it looks like to retrofit your machine tools, because you're going to have that really high quality machine that's still good, and it's just the electronics could use a refresh. Right? And bring in some modern controls or whatever else is going to exist 40 years from now. I don't know. I can't predict that. But that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
There's the commodity world, but then you have commodity customers. And is that really the work you want to be chasing right now? I don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes when we talk about commodity, at least in my understanding, it always has a little bit of, the word has a little bit of bad meaning, but absolutely not. I mean, every customer, every shop has different needs, right? Smaller shops have different parts and they have different needs of machinery, and not necessarily larger. Even some of the small to mid-size shops which are in defense, we come back to defense, or which are in what is basically a new trend again, SMR, if they are in this kind of business, they have super complicated parts, super complicated to cut alloys, etc. And that is where we come into the game, right? Into the business. I always say, I joke a little bit, I always say, if every other machine tool builder runs away and tell the customer, no, there is no chance that we can do it, then we come in and we say, let us have a little bit of a closer look to it. And that's basically our business. But coming back a little bit to what is new, right?
Yes.
We are drifting here a little bit. I think we also should talk a little bit about our spindle technology. That's maybe something for you.
Yeah.
You are very into our spindle technology.
As I mentioned before, on the compact series or on the large series Heckert machines, we are able to offer HSK 100 with spindle speeds all the way up to 20,000 RPM.
Wow.
So that's, I would say...
In the 100 itself.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And one of the main reasons that we do that is because of the business that we find ourselves in, like Udo mentioned, defense, aerospace, tough to machine materials, things like that. We tend to go more towards the larger taper spindles because of the larger tool connection and all of the attributes that go along with that. So, but with the ever-changing tooling world, we're having to always chase surface speed. Mm-hmm. So even though we're talking larger tools, heavier tools, bigger cuts, bigger machines, we are always finding ourselves having to push to the higher RPM range with those larger spindles. But then on the other side of it, we also have our HSK 63, which we can go up to 30,000 RPM, where you have, let's say aluminum semiconductor components or aerospace structural parts, where the customer has to have, it always is coming down to the lowest cost per part for us. Yep. Sometimes you have to buy the most expensive machine to have the lowest cost per part. Yeah. And in that case, we have machine tools that are outfitted to leverage every aspect of the tooling technology, of the programming technology, of the control technology. You have to have really a solid, rigid machine tool with the highest accuracy available. Yeah. Then you can really push every aspect of the market.
Yeah, and we've got another video for those curious with John from your team, who handles all the projects for stuff like that start getting more complicated, to take on the work so your customers don't have to deal with all of that. So if it's sounding complicated to you out there, it's okay. They have people to help handle that for you. It's not a ton of work for you guys. You can offload it all onto the Starrag team. They've built themselves for that reason. But that's such an important point, just the level of the tooling and everything that you bring now. Yeah. And I mean, talking about tooling, the advances in tooling technology means you can crank that surface feet now in alloys that you used to have to do like 80 surface feet per minute, and so the really slow speeds are now in the thousands.
Yeah, and so because of that, we actually found ourselves in a situation where we also will design and manufacture our own tools specific for our customers' needs. So if you have very unique geometry that you can't get to or create with just off-the-shelf commercially available tooling, we will actually work with the customer based on the geometry, based on the needs for the production that the customer has, and we will develop a tool that is specific for that application. And again, we're not trying to compete with tooling manufacturers, but sometimes, like Udo said in the beginning, we have to provide the total solution. We focus on the lowest cost per part, not just selling a piece of iron or just selling a tool. We're selling a total solution to the customer, and that goes along with the project management, with the technology, turnkey solutions, tooling. All of those things come together, and work holding design, any aspect of the project we can really handle. And that's really being driven by the market. When customers come to Starrag, they come to us to provide a whole solution. They don't just come to us saying, yeah, we need XYZ travels with this pallet size. What's your best price? That's not what our customers expect from Starrag.
No, and I really like that. And something that's very clear, listening to both of you share the updates. These are all customer-centric updates to help them better support their customers, right? This isn't about trying to be a more profitable company. This is trying to be the company that has the solutions. Like you were saying, Udo, you joke around that, if you've gone to all the other machine tool builders and they've told you, no, come to us, let us think about it, we'll probably make it happen.
Right.
But that's also clear in the way that you're developing your business here, the way you're developing and growing your teams internationally as well, to work between continents to support wherever you are.
Absolutely, because you also have to keep in mind, like many other machine tool builders as well, also our customers are globally, right? So we have to support them in Europe, we have to support them in Asia, we have to support them in North America. That's extremely important. But I want to come back on a sentence on the topic Jim just said, that Starrag also manufactures their own tools. When I heard that in the early beginning, I said, really, I cannot really believe it, because as you said, in my mind, we were competing all of a sudden with other big tool manufacturers. No, we are not doing it. And when I had the honor on my first trip to Europe and visit all the factories, I got so impressed. So when you walk into our Starrag factory in Switzerland, you see where all the a lot of machine models are built. You see the application department, and you see a big tooling department where we manufacturing our tools. So now the application engineer is doing a turnkey, right? And he has some cutting issues, he has some tooling issues, and then he is not calling company A, B, or C. He goes, 50 feet into, that's maybe 100 feet, into the tooling department and talk with his colleague, hey, I have this and that problem. Then both of the guys put their heads together, let us regrind this a little bit, let us do this, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden they come out with the absolutely perfect tool for that application. Yeah. But we also should say it's all carbide tools. It's not really...
Correct. We're not doing indexable tools or anything like that.
So these are like solid carbide form tools.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
And it came out of our airfoil machining technology, basically like going back to the RCS software. Yeah. RCS software was developed for machining airfoils, whether it's single airfoils or multi-blade assemblies like a Blisk. And that's really where the tooling sort of was born from, was the need to have very specific technology for those very specific components. But now we've branched off into tools that are made for roughing titanium structural parts for aerospace, or for aluminum structural parts and things like that. So we have branched off sort of in other areas, but it was originally born out of the need to have very specific tools for airfoil machining.
Yeah, so it's a big part of our business, and certainly, as Jim said earlier, customer really appreciate that. It makes life a little bit easier. What else is new, Jim?
I'm trying to think here. I mean, we covered pretty much everything that we had on our list. I guess really just the main focus for us with the new technology is the new compact series machines, the larger machine series, the S models, streamlining our naming conventions. We talked about RCS software. I think we covered just about everything.
We talked about the growth in your apps team, your turnkey solutions. We kind of touched on a little bit of everything. The fact that you guys have been doing CAD software for 41 years, long before it was a popular thing in the world. I think we've kind of touched on that.
I mean, Jim explained it perfectly. At the time, there was nothing really specific for those applications available. And Starrag said, okay, if nobody can really help us, we have to do it on our own. And it was not really a big business in the beginning, but then customers got interested, got totally excited, and then the business was grown and grown and grown. We spoke about spindles before. This is also a big target for us to produce more and more spindles in-house. I would say we are probably on 90% right now.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but that's a good point, is that we're actually manufacturing the spindles in-house in our facility in Switzerland, as well as the rebuild aspect of it.
Okay.
So we have a spindle exchange program set up.
So I don't even have to wait. If, like, say I had one of your machines, I would love to own one of your machines. I love it. But, and my spindle goes down, something happens, my production line's going to stop. You've got spindles on the shelf?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I don't even have to wait
right next door.
I don't even have to wait the 2-week turnaround time that most places.
Overnight.
Wow.
Overnight delivery.
And we always have to keep in mind that, of course, we are headquartered over in Europe. We are a European company, right? Or precisely a Swiss company. But usually the customers always saying, oh, if my spindle goes down, I have to ship everything to Europe, I have to wait for it, blah, blah, blah. No. Here, our customers, I would say almost never, there is maybe on older spindles here and there a little bit an exception, but usually they contact our service department here, they ship the spindle to us for the core credit because it is an exchange program, and they get the refurbished spindle out of our warehouse, as I mentioned already a couple of times, almost next door. Yeah. So they not even recognize that something comes out of Europe, and we restock our warehouse, our parts warehouse constantly. But one thing is also coming in mind. We talk a lot about machines, we talk a lot about software and tooling, but I think also last year going into this year, Starrag as a group made a big step forward in terms of manufacturing more parts in-house. So in our facility in Chemnitz, we installed a large gantry machine from our facility, Trupp and Rhein. We installed a couple other machines. So basically there is a giant building. We cleaned it out completely. We put new foundations in. We made it nice and shiny. And now it is another big machining department for Starrag machine components. You have seen it, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's very impressive.
So we definitely would like to almost 100% machine all the parts in-house, the important parts, right? Yeah. We are not going and manufacturing a little plastic connector, right? No. But all the key components, all the components which are important for the rigidity and accuracy of the machine, we will not really outsource this. We will keep it in-house, control our own quality. And it's also pretty impressive if you do a factory visit with a customer, he sees Starrag machines machining Starrag machine components.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is brand new. We are almost done with the whole installation of new machines and everything. That was a big step for the group.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to see that when it's all said and done.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive.
Are you going to go do a tour once it's all well?
Oh yeah.
Done?
I saw it in the beginning when everything was in construction, and since we installed that big droop and line machine, this big gantry machine, you have to do this giant foundation. It was very impressive to see it. So you will probably see it in September on your trip.
We should consider doing some kind of filming of that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
I would never say no to an opportunity. But that's a fantastic update. Again, everything that you guys are sharing, it's always about the people you're supporting, which near and dear to my heart as the machinist who's been in manufacturing my whole career as well. That's what it's driving you. It's not the profitability. It's because look, the reality is you could probably be more profitable as a company if you did a little bit less for the people that you serve. You can make that argument. I don't want you guys to change. Please don't change.
Okay.
keep doing. But I think that's a good place to wrap up our conversation. Thank you both for being in here and for sharing with everyone out there to all the updates that you guys are doing to make it easier to work with you, so that, you know, if you're looking out there and you're trying to find a partner here to trust, which for the record, look, everyone, I travel North America, working with a lot of companies, maybe the world, maybe in the future, but all the top companies understand the value of partnership that companies bring. And Starrag is an amazing partner to choose. And you guys can bring your applications. Like Udo said, if you've been told no, it's not possible by other companies, he's probably the man to talk to get it figured out.
Let us take a look.
Yeah, let them take a work, because I've seen some of the projects that we can't talk about where it's like, oh my God, how can you even machine that in that time? Like, just blow your mind kind of numbers. Yeah. So thank you very much, Udo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. And thank you to everyone out there watching. We will see you again.
Thank you for listening. If you want to find out more about what's happening in the world of manufacturing and engineering, visit mtdcnc.com.